Hi there, my name is Liz Weber, and welcome to Honors Algebra 2. Today I'd like to discuss some information about myself and the course itself. A little bit about myself is that this is my 11th year teaching high school mathematics and my 10th year at Minnechaug. I teach a variety of courses each year, ranging from Algebra 1 all the way through pre-calculus. At Minnechaug, I'm also the girls' cross-country coach and involved with many activities within the school as well. I'm a teacher because I love working with people and helping kids grow, and watching them find success is my biggest joy. Outside of school, I am a mom to my son Jack and expecting a little girl this spring. For my undergraduate work, I studied at both Boston College and UMass Amherst and earned my Bachelor's of Science in Mathematics and a minor in Education. For graduate school, I studied at Western New England University and earned a degree in curriculum and instruction. A little fun fact about myself is that I am a proud Chaug alum myself. So now let's talk about the course. In Honors Algebra 2, we'll be studying many topics, and we're almost halfway through. We have already studied preparing for advanced algebra, equations and inequalities, linear relations and functions, systems of equations, quadratic functions, and relations. Soon kids will be transitioning to Chapter 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is the real new meat of the course, and the more advanced Honors Algebra 2 topics. There we'll be studying polynomials and higher order functions, inverses and radical functions, exponential and log functions, and rational functions as well. So as you can see, the study of Algebra 2 is looking at a variety of different mathematical functions. The grading breakdown for this class is that assessments are worth 65% of the grade and assignments are worth 35% of the grade. Assessments consist of quizzes and tests and are always announced. Most of these have been through a program called Edulastic, where students can answer questions right through the computer so that when we take these, they can both be at home and in school. I also have them submit all of their calculations so I can make sure that they have a full understanding of showing the conceptual understanding that they have. Semester grade for this semester will be broken down so that term 1 is 45%, term 2 is 45%, and we will have a final exam worth 10%. The instruction for this course, I have chosen to use a flipped classroom. What I mean by a flipped classroom is that instead of traditional sort of lecturing, where the kids come in and the teacher stands up at the board and talks about the notes for the day, and then kids go home to practice problems, it's flipped. So for homework, students watch previously recorded videos of myself teaching a topic, and they fill in notes along with me. When they come to school the next day, we then apply those skills and are hands-on practicing problems. This allows us to use the class time really wisely, especially since some of them are only in school twice a week. It allows them to use that time to ask questions and get the help that they need. During this class time, we often are in breakout rooms through our Zoom, so students work together in smaller groups, and then we come back together to discuss any questions during a whole group discussion. I like to think about our class time as really a bunch of extra help sessions. Students can come in and ask whatever they need to make sure that they have a strong understanding of the concepts that they study at home each night. So let's talk about a typical day. A typical day, students come into school where they log in through Zoom at home, and I often ask an attendance question to get students engaged so that even if they're at home, they're participating in the course. Often that engagement question is just anything to do with life outside of school. What's your favorite Halloween candy? What's your favorite place that you have traveled? How many siblings do you have? That way, students can get to learn about each other, and I get to learn about them as well. After we check in on attendance, students are asked to complete a warm-up. That can be anything from a math problem to checking their answers to their previous night's homework, and then asking any questions through the Zoom chat. Once we do our check-in, we then move to our class discussion. At this point, we discuss any questions students had and clarify any questions. Then students break up into groups or work independently on their classwork. And that's where they're really hands-on, diving into the work, practicing the problems, and making sure that they feel confident with the material that we are studying. We always come back at the end to discuss any questions, and then students leave for the day. So let's take a look at our Google Classroom page so you can have an understanding of what that may look like. When the students come in, I usually have a slide shared similar to this. That way, as people are checking in, they have an expectation of what the day is going to look like. So for example, this was a Tuesday, and the schedule for the day, they had a warm-up to complete. So how many roots does the equation have? And then I asked them to answer that question through the chat in Zoom. That way everybody is getting engaged and organized for the day, getting their math minds going. As they're working on the warm-up, I am often checking in on attendance. And so the attendance problem for the day is to say here and then share what one of their favorite movies was. That way, again, not only can I check attendance, but everybody is getting involved and learning about each other's personalities, trying to create that classroom experience that we normally have when everybody is in the classroom. Once everybody is organized with attendance and the warm-up, we then move into any questions from the previous night's work. So for example, this night they had to work on some notes from the quadratic formula. So at that point, I will share the answers to any of the notes that they had to fill in on their own, and we discuss any questions to make sure that they feel confident with the material so that then they can practice it throughout the class period. Once we answer those questions, the students then break off into groups or work independently and work on the classwork. And for today's, it was worksheet 4-6. We always come back before the end of the class to discuss any questions that have arisen as they are working, and then they are sent off to complete their homework for the following night. So let's take a look at the Google Classroom page to see how this is all organized. So for example, here was from the week October 19th to the 23rd. An assignment sheet for the week is always posted. So here is an assignment sheet. That way the kids have an understanding of what their week looks like. So if we look at this one, on Monday, they had to complete worksheet 4-4 in class, and then at home, watch videos 4-4-6. In class, worksheet 4-6, and at home, they were watching videos for 4-5, and so on. Quizzes and tests are always posted ahead of time so that they can be well prepared for when those will be. So from today's lesson on this Tuesday that we had, again, their homework the previous night was on notes from the quadratic formula. So as you can see, task 2 was notes from the quadratic formula. At home, they had a copy of the blank set of notes, and I always post a video which is explaining the formula and the discriminant. Most of this should be reviewed because you've already learned the and as you can see, I walk through. Can I identify the A's examples with the students so that they can fill out the notes like they're right with me. Some of the notes I will leave blank and ask them to fill in the problems and try them on their own. So that next day we come in and we discuss any of the questions they had from the notes. I then always post an entire filled out answer key of those notes so that students can check to see that they tried every problem on their own correctly, and so that if they lose a copy, all the resources are right here on Google Classroom. After we discuss their notes, then they go off, like I said, and work on their assignment for the day. So in class that day, they had to work on problems from this worksheet 4-6. Once they complete that, I always post the answer key as well, so that students can make sure to check their answers. Those keys are posted and stay up there so that when they go back to studying for their tests, all answers and resources are right here on Google Classroom for them to have. Of course, you can scroll down more and see all of the different tasks and assignments. But that is a typical day in which both the notes and resources and then the classwork assignments are posted. Some expectations that I have for myself and for my students to create a successful class are the following. For myself, I anticipate that I will always listen to my students. I'll treat them each with respect, show kindness and compassion. My goal as a teacher is to not only make sure that they are learning mathematics and finding success, but also to make them smile, create an environment where they feel confident, where they can grow. I want to support them academically and accommodate to their various needs. I strive to communicate clearly with my students, and of course, I try to challenge and push them in their studies. In return, I expect students to respect me as well, and even more importantly, that they respect their fellow classmates. It's important they show up to class timely, whether that is in person or through our Zoom meetings remotely, that they listen to their peers. Again, with this new electronic way of learning, that means muting themselves when they're on Zoom so we don't hear any crazy background noise, and staying quiet while their peers are talking and sharing information. I anticipate them to engage and participate in class, again, whether that's in school or at home. There are lots of ways to get engaged when they are at home. Again, through our breakout groups, they can talk with their peers. Through the chat functions, they can ask questions right to me and the entire class. And also, of course, unmuting themselves and just participating and asking questions through the Zoom. Of course, in class, students can always raise their hand and be engaged just like a typical classroom day. I also ask that they're prepared for each class. So that means having the materials they need. Again, as you saw in Google Classroom, all the resources are always up there, so students have access to print any materials well in advance so that they're prepared for not only the class, but for the week. Communicate and ask questions. Don't sit back. The way to learn and grow is to get the help that you need. Again, so many options. Emailing me, in class, speaking up, through the Zoom, asking questions, staying for extra help. All of those are important things that they can do to make sure that they are striving to reach their maximum potential. Being patient with the technology, with myself, the teacher, and this new way of learning. Now that we're multiple weeks in, I feel like we're in a strong groove. But again, sometimes people have internet issues or the Wi-Fi goes out. And so it's important that we just all stay patient and work together and support one another. And with that being said, staying positive during these challenging times is so important so that we can make sure to overcome all of the challenges that we are all facing. Lastly, I'd like to discuss some communication and teamwork that we as a group can do to make sure that your children are most successful. So as the parent, teacher, and student, it's really important that we're all keeping up to date with Plus Portal. I try to update that weekly, if not more, so that you can always have an idea of how your child is doing and that there are no surprises near the end of a term or semester. Always check Google Classroom. Like I shared with you, all of the assignments and materials are always there. If a student is absent, they can refer right to what they missed for the day. And again, answer keys and resources are always posted a day or two later to make sure that they have access to anything they need to help them improve. Also on Google Classroom, there is a whole area for class materials. In that class materials, our syllabus is included, our integrity and honor statement are there, so you can refer to the different, again, expectations of the course and expectations of students that I have. The Zoom link for our each day is also posted, and that's where students go to make sure that they're engaging with us each day they're at home. And I also offer extra help really every single day, but on Wednesdays during our half day in the afternoon, there's the Zoom link right there to engage in extra help on Wednesdays. Other days of the week, I am here every day that students can stay after school and get the help they need. And I always tell them if they have questions to email me, and that I'll offer a Zoom link for that extra help period as well. So again, lots of ways to be engaged and understand all of where materials and assignments are by using Google Classroom and participating in those extra help support Zoom sessions. It's important that you talk with your child about the course, what is going on, and what they are learning. Don't just say, "How's your grade?" but "What are you learning about?" It makes math a little bit more meaningful, and it gives it a reason to why they are studying it. And always please encourage your child to do the best and get the help when he or she needs it. That's what I'm here for, is to support your child and let them be successful with math. So please encourage them to speak up if they ever have any questions. Again, extra help is scheduled for Tuesdays and Thursdays after school. So each cohort has a day to stay after, but during those days, I offer those Zoom links so students can also sign in remotely. If there are other days that they need, I am here most days after school, and I just ask that they tell me so that I can make sure I'm in my classroom. If you have any questions or concerns, please reach out to me through email first. It's eweber@hwrsd.org. Sometimes my Plus Portal account is still hooked up to my maiden name email, so those don't automatically pop up in my email. So I encourage you to use eweber@hwrsd.org. And if you ever want to chat by phone, I am happy to give you a call back to discuss any questions or concerns that you may have. I hope that helps you understand a little bit more of what's going on in your child's math class. And I hope to eventually meet you all soon in person. For now, stay safe, stay healthy, and again, I'm always here to support your child to do their best. Take care.